Imagine a young boy trapped in a nightmare so horrific that it spills into his waking life, leaving his family desperate for answers. This is the chilling reality of David Glatzel, an 11-year-old boy who became the center of one of the most controversial cases of demonic possession in American history. As shadows crept into his home, his plight caught the attention of famed paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, leading to harrowing exorcisms that would haunt all involved. But the story doesn't end there. Brace yourself for a tale that weaves together fear, faith, and a shocking murder trial that would challenge the very fabric of belief in the supernatural. What happened to David and his family raises unsettling questions that linger long after the final prayer is said. At just 11 years old, David Glatzel was a typical boy from Connecticut. But his summer of 1980 would soon plunge him into a nightmare that felt all too real. As night fell, David found himself tormented by horrific visions that turned his once peaceful sleep into a battleground of fear. Each night, he would wake, heart racing and drenched in sweat, screams echoing through the darkness of his room. These weren't just ordinary nightmares. They were relentless assaults from a menacing figure, a demonic presence that clawed its way into his mind, haunting him night after night. Desperate for answers, David's parents watched in horror as their once vibrant son began to fade into a shadow of his former self. They sought help from every corner, taking him to doctors and specialists, hoping to uncover a medical explanation for his terrifying symptoms. But time and again, they were met with empty reassurances and puzzled expressions. With each passing day, the family's anxiety deepened. They felt powerless as they witnessed David spiraling further into a vortex of fear and distress, trapped in a nightmare that seemed to have no end. Every night brought new horrors, leaving them questioning not just their son's health, but the very fabric of their reality. As the weeks dragged on, David's nightmares morphed into something far more sinister, spilling over into his waking life with terrifying consequences. Family members witnessed their beloved boy erupt into violent outbursts, shouting, cursing, and even physically attacking them with no explanation. The transformation was staggering. On occasion, David would slip into eerie trances, his voice dropping to deep, guttural tones that sent shivers down the spines of those who heard him. It was as if a dark presence had taken hold, sharing insights about people and events he had no earthly way of knowing. In a particularly chilling development, David's reaction to religious symbols became a haunting spectacle. The mere sight of a cross would send him into a fit of rage, his body contorting as if repulsed by an unseen power. Each incident left his family more terrified as they grappled with the horrifying realization that their son was caught in a battle against something far beyond their understanding. In their quest for answers, the Glatzel family sought out Ed and Lorraine Warren, the legendary paranormal investigators known for their unorthodox methods and relentless pursuit of truth. With their wealth of experience, they were convinced that David's torment was not merely a case of mental distress, but rather a genuine possession. When the Warrens arrived at the Glatzel home, they immediately sensed the oppressive atmosphere. After conducting a thorough assessment, Ed and Lorraine were convinced that David was ensnared by a dark entity. They wasted no time in preparing for a series of exorcisms, believing that only through spiritual intervention could David hope to reclaim his life. And as they gathered the necessary tools, holy water, prayers, and sacred artifacts, the stakes were higher than ever. The family, was on the brink of a battle not just for David's soul, but for their very sanity. With a mix of trepidation and determination, Ed and Lorraine, accompanied by a Catholic priest, conducted a series of exorcisms on David, each session charged with a palpable sense of fear and tension. During one particularly harrowing exorcism, something astonishing occurred. David was reported to have levitated off the bed, defying the laws of physics and sending shockwaves through everyone present. Those who bore witness couldn't believe their eyes. David's physical strength seemed to transcend that of an ordinary child, raising the unsettling question of what kind of force was truly at play. As the Warrens pressed on, they unleashed a barrage of prayers, holy water, and sacred rituals, each carefully crafted to drive out the malevolent entity that had taken hold of David. The process was grueling, stretching on for hours as they fought to reclaim his spirit. Yet despite their unwavering resolve, David continued to suffer, caught in a relentless struggle that left everyone questioning the true nature of his torment. As the months dragged on, the weight of David's torment began to take a toll on his family, particularly on his older brother, Arne Johnson. Deeply affected by the anguish he witnessed, Arne became a constant presence during the exorcism sessions, desperately trying to support David in any way he could. Then, on February 16th, 1981, tragedy struck. Following an altercation with his landlord, a man named Alan Bono, Arne Johnson committed an act that would send further shockwaves through the community. He fatally stabbed Bono during a dispute. In the aftermath of this horrific event, Arne's defense sent the case spiraling into sensationalism. He insisted that he was under the influence of a demonic entity at the time of the attack, a declaration that would challenge the legal system in unprecedented ways. This shocking assertion marked the first time in U.S. history that someone attempted to use demonic possession as a defense for murder. The courtroom became a stage for a bizarre legal battle, pitting the belief in the supernatural against the judicial system. Arne's story not only captivated the public, but also ignited debates about the nature of evil and the possibility of possession, questions that would linger long after the gavel fell. The trial that ensued quickly captured the nation's attention, earning sensational headlines that dubbed it the "Devil Made Me Do It" trial. As the courtroom drama unfolded, tension filled the air. The defense team argued passionately that Arne Johnson was not in control of his actions at the time of the attack. They painted a harrowing picture of a family tormented by dark forces, citing David's chilling possession and the traumatic events that had unfolded around them as evidence of Arne's disturbed mental state. However, the prosecution remained skeptical, dismissing the notion of supernatural influence as a mere distraction. They attributed Arne's erratic behavior to drugs and alcohol, framing the incident as a tragic consequence of poor choices rather than a battle with demonic forces. In a verdict that stirred intense debate, Arne Johnson was found guilty of manslaughter. However, he received a significantly reduced sentence, igniting widespread discussions about the intersection of mental health and spiritual beliefs within the legal system. This unprecedented case forced society to grapple with difficult questions. What constitutes true possession? And how do we differentiate between a troubled mind and something more sinister? The Glatzel family's harrowing experiences etched themselves into the annals of the Warrens' legacy, giving rise to a wealth of books, documentaries, and films. Most notably, their story became a pivotal part of the Conjuring series, captivating audiences with its chilling blend of horror and the supernatural. Even amid the controversies and debates that surrounded the case, the Glatzel story serves as a haunting reminder of the fragile line that separates faith from mental health. It invites us to grapple with unsettling questions. What truly lies beyond our perception? What mysteries lurk in the depths of the human mind, waiting to be uncovered? In the end, the Glatzel family's ordeal is not just a tale of demonic possession. It's a profound exploration of the human experience itself,